Hey, what's up? It's Joe. Welcome to my 5 Minute Friday for Friday the 13th. Awesome day. Scary day. Just kidding. So it's actually really nice out. Yeah, OpenAI's announcement got me thinking about, last week's 5 Minute Friday where I talked about how good do you have to be at your job, right? So I gave the story of a good friend of mine who's a airline pilot and basically said there's sort of a cap in terms of how good you can be as being a pilot because, basically getting paid to, um, you know, move your aircraft from point A to B and don't kill everybody on the plane. So, and then it got me thinking about OpenAI's announcement with their new O1 model, which is a new large language model trained with reinforcement learning to perform complex reasoning. This is from this article they published yesterday, Learning to Reason with LLMs. So it's dated September 12th. So from this article, it says OpenAI O1 ranks in the 89th percentile on competitive programming questions. It's from Codeforces. Places among the top 500 students in the U.S. in a qualifier for the USA Math Olympiad, and exceeds human-level PhD accuracy on a benchmark of physics, biology, and chemistry problems. So it seems like this is still a work in progress. The OpenAI model is available for preview. The main one is not yet. It's apparently very expensive. I mean, I think you're given 30 API calls or 30 uses of the preview version. They have a mini version. I think it's 50 a week. So I could see this probably racking up a bill a lot. But I think it's being touted as something that's a bit beyond what an LLM is. This is a quote reasoning engine. So I'm very curious to see how this is applied. And how does this impact, potentially people's work? Well, I mean, the nature so far has been that, technology really eats away at tasks, probably not whole jobs. That seldom is the case unless you were a horse in London or New York or any big city in the 1800s, and then you suddenly found you and your horse friends out of work because you were replaced by cars. That did happen in a couple decades, but for the most part, horses are still around. They just have other uses now. So, not saying humans are horses, and your job's not being a horse, but there are some similarities, and I think the nature of technology is such that it's always made tasks easier, right? People have been typing on things and writing things for ages. The typewriter made writing by hand easier. Keyboards and computers made that obsolete. And I would say that people still write with a keyboard. I do. I increasingly use voice to text because I think it's actually pretty good and it's pretty efficient and it allows me to, streamline a lot of the work I'd be doing. So that shaves a lot of time off. And then obviously, as ChatGPT came out, it found quite a few use cases, some better than others. It's still, I think, mocked as a toy. I don't think as cynical about things. I just know that this stuff is here to stay. It's going to improve, and stuff like OpenAI's O1 model will keep improving, and things like it. And maybe we'll find a completely new way to, maybe use less hardware and better algorithms. But that remains to be seen. But that's always how it's been in this field. And so, what does it mean for work? Well, I mean, obviously, if you have something that's, if I were to get a resume of somebody who's crushes it at physics, biology, chemistry, and math and coding, that person would be obviously a savant. That resume would definitely land at the top of the pile to score the high and everything. So I think that's what you got to realize is it doesn't need to do exactly what humans do. This, AI or any other technological advancement, it just needs to do enough in its own way that it starts eroding at tasks, and pretty soon the nature of your work changes. Will this mean like a wholesale obsolescence of the workforce? I don't think anytime soon, but I could definitely envision a world where increasingly, more and more human tasks are done by machines. That's an insanely high, at least on paper, competence level. For this reasoning engine, as they call it. It remains to be seen how this translates into things like, drug discovery and new ways of doing physics as OpenAI claims and so forth. But I think it gives you a preview of kind of where this is going, where machines will probably start doing things that humans just haven't been able to do. And you saw this back in the day with AlphaGo. It was like 2017 or something like that. And, that beat the world's best Go player, which nobody thought was going to happen, right? That was mathematically just improbable that, a machine would beat anyone at Go. And it did it. It did it really well. It did it in devastating fashion. And then, they come up with AlphaGo Zero, which trained itself and beat AlphaGo. So I would say, these... machine learning just does things in sometimes in a black box way. You don't understand it. It's not meant probably for you to understand. It just does it in a kind of an alien way, and that's how it is. And so when these technologies are applied to human tasks, it may not do it in the way that humans do it. And I think it's besides the point. It doesn't need to. But if it can get the task done effectively in an ethical and legal manner, then it accomplished the task, right? Just the same way that computer code accomplished replacing many, many tasks. That had nothing to do with the way things were done before. If you look at how analog computing was done with hydraulic pumps and Lord knows what else, tubes compared to now. I mean, these are night and day innovations. And I think you always have to look at sort of the trajectory of where things are going and not fixate on the specifics sometimes of like how close it is of an analog to the thing you're trying to I wouldn't use the word replace, but maybe do differently. And so the things that bug me about the discussions with LLMs is I think people are taking too much of a human-centric approach to it. And I think it fails to recognize that we're at the very beginnings of what I think is going to be a very long trend of just these current algorithmic approaches and others just continuing to improve on themselves. I think you'll see just a hodgepodge of different techniques, symbolic, statistical type learning techniques continue to improve, and I'm excited to see where it goes. But I would say is, keep an open mind about this. I'm already seeing people like kind of poo-poo the O1 model, saying, well, it still can't spell things correctly. I'm like, I think it misses the entire point. I don't think if you're thinking it's designed to do that, great. I think it's. I would take somebody who misspelled Mississippi, that it didn't have an A in it. I think that was one example. It gave Mississippi as an example. I would probably take that if it could also do as well as it did in all those competitions and benchmarks. If that were an employee, I would forgive that mistake. And so I think we're, anyway. I was curious to see how it goes though, right? I mean, these are just marketing claims, and I think it remains to be seen when things hit the real world. That's when, I think it starts getting interesting. So maybe this thing works. Maybe it's a total flop. Who knows? Maybe there's a giant Hail Mary from OpenAI to raise more funding from the UAE and others, which is in the news right now, but who knows? Anyway, what's going on? No newsletter for the next few weeks. I'm going to be busy traveling and writing and just with a lot of stuff. See, Monday the 16th, we got Andrew Ng on the Monday morning data chat, so that's going to be awesome. Andrew's been really awesome and supportive for the data engineering course, which we worked on with the deep learning AI crew. So that course is launching on the 18th of September. So definitely find it on Coursera and pre-enroll and enroll, and I hope you enjoy the course. I'm going to be off in Big Data London also on the 18th and a bit of the 19th as well. So I'll be giving a keynote and a bunch of panels on the 18th, and then off to do the Data Eng Bytes tour in Australia and New Zealand for the following 2 weeks there. So it's going to be a long time on the road, which is why the newsletter is probably not going to be out. But you'll get these 5-minute Fridays regardless, because, I need a lifeline to you, and you, it seems like you guys want to, hear the podcast. So here you go. Anyway, I hope you all have a fun weekend. I hope you have a fun Friday 13th, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.